You better believe it. I'll be there. This is my home, and I'm home to stay.
Good evening to each one of you who is watching me here. You realize that maybe my lighting system is not too good. I am in the Republic of Ghana, which was formerly the Gold Coast. And I want to thank the host country for their hospitality. I equally want to thank the President of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency Nana Akufo, for the wonderful job he's been doing in regard to the coronavirus. For quite a while now, I've not been able to come out because I've been very busy doing the things I do for the struggle. I do not believe in propaganda diplomacy. I believe in active diplomacy, that whatever I do for the struggle should come back with merit, should achieve some goals. Otherwise, I would have been flaunting videos and pictures of all the meetings I've been having around the world. Those things don't yield fruits. What yields fruits is what the people will be able to see as being tangible. That is why by the time that SOCADEF took a decision to declare a unilateral ceasefire, no one was aware it was coming except SOCADEFians and the members of the Revolutionary High Command Council and members of the African People's Liberation Movement. These are very critical times, my people. You see behind me, you can't find the flag of Amazonia, but you can find on my chest a pin. These are critical times. And critical moments demand smart, thoughtful, foresighted, knowledgeable, and wise leadership. It doesn't just need our emotion. It doesn't just need our anger. It doesn't just need our hatred against the other side, which is a legitimate hatred for what they have done to us. It needs us to sit and think carefully and look at the consequences of every decision we take. But most especially, for those of us who pass around as leaders, this is the moment we must be ready to take risk for our people. Oh yes, this is what is lacking in this struggle. We have a bunch of leadership that taking risk is the most difficult thing. They won't want to travel to any country. They won't want to go to anywhere unless they have to go where they know. They will assemble you people, Ambazonians, to ask you people to give your hard-earned currency to them. When they need money from you people, they will fly to any angle. If there is a meeting somewhere, they will not want to go. We don't want to take risk for anything. Yet we are sending the sons and daughters of other people to take risks on our behalf on the ground. Leadership is not to do the popular thing. Leadership demands you to do the necessary thing. What is needed for your people, that is what makes you a leader. You see, I didn't come out here to call names, and I don't intend to do that. I came out here to explain two concepts and to talk to you people briefly before I go to bed. COVID-19 will kill more of our people than all the bullets put together. Not because the bullets have not done much harm to our people, not because the bullets have not left a lasting legacy to our people, but because we know our situation. Those who have occupied our land have made sure we do not even have hospitals. And even where we have hospitals, they have set them ablaze. Our medical doctors are on the run because they say they are treating our boys. Just imagine what COVID-19 will do to our people. Just imagine it. Many of you have gone out. You've called me names. You've insulted me. You've described me. In fact, you have even buried me alive. Frankly, I have no anger against any of you. I understand that in church moments like these, emotions are running high. But let me tell you people something. Every Sokadefian and every APL member feeds in the anger and hatred that some of you bring to us. Because without your anger and your hatred, we might not have a fuel that will propel us to go forward and do the things we are doing. But by the way, there is something I must correct here today, my people. And please take this very seriously. I escaped from prison on July the 9th, 2003. I arrived in Nigeria on July the 10th, 2003. I traveled through the forest under extremely adverse conditions, heavy rains. The only thing I had with me was my Holy Bible, given to me by a reverend sister from Quebec. I traveled through the Sambisi forest to get to Nigeria. The reason I want to say this is, I want to make this thing lie down. Because for most of the time, I do not know why. If I have to criticize my own comrade brother, Comrade Lucas CHO AYABA, someone should not judge me that it is because he planned and got me out of prison. Therefore, if he errs, I don't have the right to speak. So what I'm trying to say is simple. And I know Comrade AYABA is watching me here. Comrade AYABA did not, I repeat, did not participate in any way to get me, EBENEZER Bongo AKWANGA, out of prison. I arrived in Gembu, in Taraba State, on the 10th. By the 11th, I went to the motor park. There was just one satellite phone in Gembu at that time, 2003. I paid 500 nairas to make a call. And that day, I called 3 people. I called my senior brother, I called my beautiful wife, and I called Comrade CHO Lucas AYABA. Everything he must have told any one of you, how I came out of prison, is what he got from me. I want to end this story, let it end. I'm alive, he's alive. I will not stand anywhere for anybody to lie about him. Because when you lie about him and I know you are lying, I will tell you you are lying. I do not have a problem with him. I have a problem with his approach. I have a problem with his approach. People have brothers that they come from the same womb and they disagree. Some even fight over family properties. I have no problem with him. I have no problem with any one of you. Because none of you have done to me anything nearer to what Mr. Bia has done to me as an individual. I see no reason to hold you grudges. But I want to make this very clear. Comrade CHO Lucas AYABA did not, 1, prepare, 2, participate in my escape from prison. I informed him how I escaped, and not even in details. On the 11th, I called him because I had a duty to call him, as he was the Secretary General of the Southern Cameroons Youth League. My escape was kept very, very quiet because I frankly did not trust anybody. Not even in my family was anyone aware. I kept it away from my wife because where she was staying, there was certainty that had I released that I'm going to escape, her host would have sold me out. So I want this to die down. If someone has a personal problem with me, please come after me. Keep aside this issue of Comrade AYABA bringing me out of prison. And I know many people have been spreading these rumors all over the place. No, I repeat, he did not. I am flying every day. I am traveling every day. If what I am saying is a lie, I won't get into a plane and reach my destination. I repeat, my planning to come out of prison was not done by Comrade CHO Lucas AYABA or any other leadership of the SCY at that time, except the chief of staff of Sokadev, who was informed at the last moment because he was involved in the last part of the mission. I do not want to speak much about this because it will risk the lives of many of the people who participated in my escape who are still back in La République du Cameroon. But let this matter die and die down. I've kept it for too long. I thought it is going to die a natural death, but I want to settle it. And that matter is over. Now, Sokadev and APLM were contacted by the UN humanitarian team. The same time, the UN humanitarian team contacted the IG and contacted the AGC or AGOFC. They actually spoke to Comrade John Egwawan of the IG. They spoke to Comrade Cecilia Amabo of AGOFC. The same way they had spoken to APLM and Sokadev, trying to let us understand the importance of catching up with the hour and listening to the clarion call of the world's chief administrator, the Secretary General of the UN, Antonio Guterres. They even informed the agency or AGOFC and the IG that Sokadev was already leaning in declaring a unilateral ceasefire. But this is what is funny, my people. Even before Sokadev declared a unilateral ceasefire, the IG had already taken a decision which is on Twitter. You can find a picture of my brother Mola Sako on the message which the IG sent, where they made it categorically clear that they will not declare ceasefire, and that if they want ceasefire, they will do it through the Swiss auspices. The IG never consulted with me, never consulted with the AGC, never consulted with APLM or Sokadev. That was the IG's decision. It is on Twitter. You can go there and look at the date. We never criticized it. The AGOFC did not take an overt decision at that time. Sokadev sat over this. We had a meeting. We consulted with our lawyers. We consulted with our partners in the international community, diplomats that we communicate with. We look at all the parameters and they told us it's the right thing to do. We sat together, draft a press release, went through it, do the corrections. In fact, we took more than 2 days to do that. And when we were ready, we dispatched the press release to the international community and to the office of the Secretary General of the UN. And what happened? The next day, I was interviewed over BBC television, which came out on Focus on Africa, BBC World Service, and BBC Television and BBC Online. I knew that the decision we were taking will be monumental. But I have to think first, me and all the members of Rekoko, about each one of you who call yourself Ambazonians or Southern Cameroonians. I have to think about your safety. I have to ask myself the hard question. Why are we fighting this war? If we say we are fighting this war to save you people from the scourge of tyranny, from eventual death from the hands of La République du Cameroon, then why can we not also listen to a clarion call that will save you people from imminent death through COVID-19? If we are not capable of doing that, we are not capable of being leaders. If we are not capable to understand the monstrosity of COVID-19, whatever people might want to term it, if we do not think protecting each one of you, the people of Ambazonia, is our priority. But we think more of doing grandstanding and propaganda diplomacy. We are doing harm to our consciences and we are doing harm to each one of you. SOCADEV will not settle for that. APM will not settle for that. So I welcome your insults. I welcome your attacks. I welcome all your discretions, because they are only the fuel that makes me to keep on going and to understand that were you a free people, you would not have gone out without being reasonable enough, without being smart enough to attack me, attack SOCADEV or APLMers. Oh yes, it is because you are not free. And that is why I'm catching you a slave. I'm catching you a slave. If you were a free people, you would have talked with a lot of freedom. But what is most crucial on this issue, my people? It is these two words: unilateral ceasefire and ceasefire. SOCADEV did not declare a ceasefire. Ceasefire under international humanitarian law and even under international relations, the norms, the concept, ceasefire is normally declared as part of a package of a negotiated settlement. Each one of you know very well that we have not started negotiation with La Republic. There is actually a Swiss-led international initiative which has not yet become a Swiss-led international process. A process is when it actually takes off. It hasn't taken off in reality. It is still an initiative. So what happened? We cannot declare a ceasefire because where is the signed agreement between La République du Cameroun and us, SOCADEV or APLM? So when people come to you and tell you I've declared ceasefire, no. You've gone to school. Even the bad schools which La République imposed upon our people. You can even go to Google. You are not in China. Find out the meaning of ceasefire, how it is done, and the meaning of unilateral ceasefire. So ceasefire, my people, it comes as a package. If you are doing a negotiation through a mediation process, ceasefire, going back to school, the whole process of justice, the sharing of assets, all of those things are a package to a comprehensive negotiated settlement. And you can decide to make a ceasefire with the other side for 10 days, for 30 days, for 6 months, for 1 year, which can fail, which might not fail. As the ceasefire is held, that is how you strengthen the ceasefire and increase the ceasefire. This is a process. It has nothing to do with you having a master's degree or a doctorate degree. It has everything to do with you understanding how these things work. My people, diplomacy is not an issue of going to march in front of the UN. It is not an issue of big grammar. It is not an issue of anger. Diplomacy is taking advantage of the moment. When the moment comes, you seize it for the benefit of what you are doing. Our people keep failing to seize the moment. I had warned each one of us that the moment will come when a major world crisis will try to push our struggle aside. I have said that. It is online, on videos. I said if we do not continue to seize the moment, we might reach a level where nobody will talk about us any longer. Luckily that the people of Ambazonia or Southern Cameroons, they have the APLM and they have SOCADEV. That in the midst of this very deadly crisis, this pandemic, we imposed ourselves diplomatically into the arena. By talking about SOCADEV and APLM, they are talking about the Ambazonian struggle. Nowhere has it ever happened, my people, that we as non-state actors are tacitly recognized by the United Nations. We have demonstrated in snow under the rain. Takumbeng have danced and all whatnot. We never received a single statement from the office of the Secretary General. Oh yes, we know how we have struggled. It has never happened. SOCADEV and APLM has given us an opportunity to grab. And what are we doing? What are we doing? We are defecating on the bridge that we know we will want to one day try to cross it again. crisis at this moment have received the type of publicity that we as a people have received? How many? After Sokadev declared a unilateral ceasefire, which I will explain to you people what it means, the Syrian Democratic Forces of Kurdistan followed suit. We became the first. The SDF, the Syrian Democratic Forces, became the second. They are the only forces fighting for a separate homeland for the Kurdish people. So I don't know what you people are complaining about. That when the IG took that decision and went to Twitter, they did not consult with us. I did not see you people complain. AGOC have taken decisions several times without consultations with us or others. You don't complain. Is it that if independence or restoration is coming through me, APLM or Sokadev, you guys will say, no, we don't want that independence or restoration. Take it away. We want our own. That will come only through our comrade brother AYABA CHO, or our comrade brother Molasako, or some other sister? Is that what the people are working for? Is that it? How can we be shooting ourselves every now and then? I have explained what a ceasefire is. A ceasefire doesn't occur when there is no agreement between two parties or more. A ceasefire comes in with monitoring. There must be a team to go on the ground and monitor it, accepted by all the sides. A ceasefire normally comes in as a comprehensive package or the beginning of a comprehensive package, leading to a signatory for a negotiated settlement. But a unilateral ceasefire is one in which one or more armed groups or even a state can declare. You can decide today and say, listen, because there is a cholera outbreak in our area, we are going to declare a 48 hours unilateral ceasefire so that all the corpses can be gathered and given a decent burial. It is tricky. Unilateral ceasefire is tricky. But let me tell you something. Unilateral ceasefire works on two things: goodwill from you and goodwill from the other side. We have declared unilateral ceasefire. We have not imposed La République du Cameroon to obey it. But if La République du Cameroon will want to fight the COVID-19, we will see how they will not obey it, because it is a call from the chief administrator of the world, Antonio Guterres, the Secretary General of the UN. So that is one thing that we have done. We have acted more maturely than an existing state. We are not stupid. This is an act of strategic importance for this struggle. Unilateral ceasefire means if Sokadev feels, I've not even said any other thing, that act. If Sokadev fighters everywhere in the nine counties feel at any time that they are being threatened, they will fight back. If La République comes in, even just passing around, when we have asked that they should stay in their positions, we will fight back. So unilateral ceasefire is accepting what the UN Secretary General have said, because COVID-19 is monstrous, is deadly. We can treat gunshot wounds. COVID-19, we don't even have a vaccine. We have difficulties even treating our soldiers. Those of you watching me, how many of you have even contributed money for medical facilities for these guys? We send them to fight. Some of them die because of simple internal bleeding, that they could be in position to be treated. You don't put in money, you don't put anything. The only contribution you give is insult, hatred, jealousy, and deceit, lies telling. This is not going to help us. So it is our right, as the last bastion of the defense of our people, to declare a unilateral ceasefire. We didn't just do it, we thought about it. And the consequences and the plus have been enormous. That is Colonel Banjek, the former spokesperson for La République military, who is crying foul that the United Nations has legitimized Sokadev and technically legitimized the Amazonian struggle. Oh yes, it is out there. He's crying. He's complaining that Radio France International treated this as a major news item the whole of the 27th of this month. That was on Friday. It has been reported in different news outlets in the world, because the world is hunger for peace. The world is hunger for something at this moment when COVID-19 is destroying our people and destroying the entire world. Just yesterday, 838 people died in Spain. One day, 838. Do we think that we don't have COVID-19 victims? Where are our testing equipment? And if we discover them, what are we going to do? We pretend that we have the capacity to look after them when we do not even have capacity to arm our boys. We don't have the capacity to feed them. The only capacity we have is to send them to go and fight with our mouth, with our propaganda techniques. No. When we do this, we are sending our people to suicide. That is what Sokadev will never accept. That is what APLM will never accept. I, AKWANGA, will never make a butchery of my conscience. As long as we know it is the right thing to do, consensuously, morally, as long as we know it is the legitimate and the legal thing to do, as long as I remain a leader, I will be thoughtful, I will be smart, I will be strategic, I will be foresighted, and I will ask God for wisdom. I will ask our forefathers to keep bestowing me with the wisdom in the decisions I make with all my collaborators. But I will be daring, because anyone who is not willing to take risk at this moment is not fit to be a leader. We must be ready to risk our name, risk ourselves, and risk everything of ours if we truly want to free our people. So no insults will deter us. Insults will feed us. Because every time you heap insults, and La République is also doing the same thing, then we know we are doing the right thing. If we do something and you do not throw those insults, then we think we have erred somewhere. So keep bringing them, my people. Keep fueling us, because we need that as a motivant. It should be a motivating factor to give us a reason to say, listen, if these people were really free, they will not be speaking in this manner. They will not be talking in this way. They will really know what exactly is being done. But you are not free. I am not free. And we have to keep on marching towards freedom. The other issue I want to discuss with you now is the issue of the classification during an armed conflict or war. You can see the document I'm having. You can see there the ICRC, the International Committee of the Red Cross. This document, as drafted from the 1949 Geneva Convention, clearly states the state parties to the 1949 Geneva Conventions have entrusted the International Committee of the Red Cross through the statutes of the International Red Cross and Red Crescent movement, in quotes, to work for the understanding and dissemination of knowledge of international humanitarian law applicable in armed conflicts and to prepare any development thereof. It is on this basis that the ICRC takes this opportunity to present the prevailing legal opinion on the definition of international armed conflict. And on this particular document, which I am working hard to put it online, so that some of you who are lazy enough not to go to Google and search for it will be able to understand why we did what we did, or we are calling for what we call. There are only two types of major classification that exist. The International Armed Conflict, or AIC, and the Non-International Armed Conflict, NIAC. It is clearly stated here that a conflict is classified as an international armed conflict when it consists of two or more existing states. I repeat, two or more existing states. In other words, it is clearly stated stated that international humanitarian law distinguishes two types of armed conflicts: the international armed conflicts opposing two or more states, and the non-international armed conflict between governmental forces and non-governmental armed groups, or between such groups only. In other words, if SOCADEF, ADF, Red Dragons, Seven Kata, and even the Leopards or whatever they call themselves are fighting among themselves, which is impacting regional peace and security, it could, if it meets the merits of its characterization, to be termed a non-international arms conflict. But if, for example, SOCADEF, ADF and the others, or even just SOCADEF, is fighting against La République du Cameroon alone, the only classification it can get is that of a non-international arms conflict. Why is the answer? Why is it not an international arms conflict, IAC? The answer is simple. It is because Ambazonia is not a country. Ambazonia is not a state. Ambazonia is a nation, because Ambazonians are a people. Even in Banjul, when a decision was made by the African Human and People's Rights Commission, they did not declare Ambazonia a country or a state. They declare it that they are a people with distinct characters that makes them a nation. Listen, there is a difference between nation and state, though people used to use them interchangeably. If you do not succeed in building a viable nation, you cannot be a successive state. The state building will fail. And the reason why state building fails everywhere in the world is because nation building has already failed. South Sudan is a typical example. And what is a nation? The Bafut people are a nation. The Mankong people are a nation. The Mokwe people, or we the Bakwarians, are a nation. The Mundani people are a nation. The Nwe people are a nation. But these are nations within another nation which is struggling to become a state or a country. So please, the problem we are having all this confusion and insults is because some among us have deceived us that we are an existing country. They have deceived us that we are an existing state. Please, my people, even if you go back to the 1961 constitution with La République, which talk of two states of equal parties, at this juncture we are talking, under international law, Ambazonia is not a state, is not a country. Because the worst thing we are doing is deceiving ourselves. If we do not face reality, I can swear you people, we will never get what we want. No matter how vocal we are, no matter how much we talk, no matter how much we say we will fight to the last man, that will only be the air we breathe. It will end there. We will never. If we do not fight this fight smartly, taking advantage of the opportunities that are open to us, we will never get that restoration. Mark my words. I'm not hiding it. I'm saying it in the open. La République will not take it away from us. We will take it away from us. We, Ambazonians. So let nobody deceive you with big grammar. Let nobody deceive you. The only classification that we fall in is non-international arms conflict. And let me tell you why. In December, after consultation with the ICRC, I led an APLM SOCADEF delegation to Geneva to talk to the ICRC. I have been discussing this issue with the ICRC for more than a year, that I want our conflict to be classified, because the one in the north with Boko Haram is classified. And it is classified, yet the bloodshed and the destruction is not up to us. How many other leaders understand the implications and importance of classifying this war? How many have fought for it? How many? We think we will just fight blindly? No. Let me tell you the importance of classifying it. When you classify this war, you give more legitimacy to the Ambazonian struggle. When you classify this war, it gives opening to ADF, to Red Dragons, to which any group, in any bilateral negotiations they want to do anywhere in the world. Any bilateral underground negotiations. Because the war is classified, You can take that classification and show to the people. If anyone is going to invest in your struggle, they should know what they are investing in. At this moment, people don't know why and what they should invest in. We are still seen as an internal issue. And that is what I'm trying to fight with SOCADEF and APLM, that we are not an internal issue. But we cannot be arguing that we are not internal only by talking. It is through international instruments like classification. As long as we are not classified, this war remains an internal issue within La République du Cameroon. Despite all the noise we make out there, despite our interviews, we are not going anywhere further than that. This is the duty of the ICRC, classification. Some of you will come to me, doctor, why can't we go and negotiate for iron somewhere and the rest? No, you are not classified. It's just like a local issue. But you and me know this is not just local. So who is going to invest in you? Who wants to put in the money? Who will do that bad business to invest in you for nothing? It is not how flowery your language is. It is not how convincing you want to tell a potential partner out there. It is what they see out there in the world. That is what they follow. When you become a non-international arms conflict, you have a lot of advantages. But there is one caveat, one disadvantage. The disadvantage of classification is that if we are classified as NIAC, it means it will give room to La République du Cameroon and equally to us to use any type of weaponry in the war. Any type of weaponry. To use whatever we can use to fight. That is the only negative part. But this is the good news. The good news is that I told the ICRC that that is not the concern of SOCADEF or APLM, because La République have already used all the arsenals at their disposal. They have used every bit of weapon they have for warfare against us. So ICRC should not be worried about what will be used by La République against us. We want it classified so that it will give us that status that we need in the international arena, whether in backroom deals or in overt operations. That is why we fought for classification. My people, I won't sit here for too long. I have been in this thing for 35 years. Before Comrade AYABA met me in the University of Boya, I was deep in this struggle. You can find out from our learned brother, Chief Barrister Charles Achwaleke Tapu. You can find out. If Bate Bison was alive, you can find out from him. I was the smallest and the youngest. I have been in this thing for 35 years. I did not join it because somebody convinced me. I joined it because of the personal situation of my family. The treatment my family got from the Bassas, from the Malonges, and the Ngemus. What they did to my father while working in the CDC. Not just my father. Other people were like him. It is personal to me. But I have no rancor against every Bassa man, because I was not brought up to carry out collective punishment. No, I do not do that. I will not carry out collective punishment against the Bassas. I will not sit, I'm serious in what I'm saying. You might condemn me. I will not carry out collective punishment against the Bamis. I won't carry out collective punishment against the Etons and the Ewondos who are in our land. But any one of them who stand up against any of our forces or our people, that individual or the group of individuals who do that becomes legitimate targets. That is how it works. That is how it works. We cannot prosecute this war to be like the other side. They burn down our churches, burn our hospitals, rape our moms, kill our sisters. And when we try to do the good thing, you are moving with all types of physics to throw on Dr. AKWANGA. You have done this thing several times. Can't you realize that it doesn't stick? Can't you realize it will not stick on me? It can't stick. My body is camel water. What the French people call eau de javel. That removes every stain. So by the time it lands there, it is off. Because my conscience is clear. I am not perfect. Those of us in SOCADEF and APLM are not perfect. But we try to do the best every time we want to take a decision for our fighters, for our movement, and for the people. And even in this decision, my people, we said that in areas controlled by SOCADEF, We did not do as other groups we do, speaking for all Ambazonians, even though they do not fit, they do not train, they do not buy equipment for every defense force on the ground. They will say they are doing it for the people of Ambazonia. They arrogate upon themselves powers they do not have. We know our limits. So we said, for every Sokadefian, it is our business to defend ourselves, and it is our business to protect our people. So what is the business of the others? They should just go out and tell the UN that we do not agree with you. It ends there. Why should you tell the UN you don't agree with them, then you think that you should stain Sokadev, stain APLM, stain Dr. AKWANGA? No. We have achieved what no other group has ever achieved in this struggle. In fact, the people of Ambazonia has achieved what has never been done before. That non-state actors were recognized by the United Nations. They thank us for the position we took. Is that not good enough? How can you people read in simple language that we ask our people to stand down, and you read stand down means lay down your weapons for 14 days, the period of incubation of COVID-19? How can you read it otherwise, if not that you are clouded by jealousy and hatred? How can you read it otherwise? Plain English. How can you? That even as I'm talking to you, Sokadev was fighting yesterday at my 14, and Malende, and Munyenge, where a 34-year-old was killed with 4 children, who was not even a fighter. How can you say these lies to the people, when even as I speak to you, 2 civilians were shot today around Ekiliwindi? I have their videos here, who were not doing anything. La Republic was just passing an open fire at them. How come you? You have lied that Sokadev does not exist. You have banned Sokadev. You've done everything. Yet you are angry again that even the Sokadev you have banned. You are now angry that the United Nations recognizes that Sokadev and recognizes us in the struggle. What is wrong with us? This will not help, my people. It will not help. Lastly, we must learn from one another. We must learn. Being a veteran in the US Army does not qualify you to understand the travails of guerrilla warfare. Let me make this very clear. Conventional warfare is different from guerrilla warfare. The reason we find ourselves in all of these things is that some of you, my brothers and sisters, you are so angry that it wasn't your name that is being circulated around the world. There is no other reason. It is not that you are doing this for Ambazonian people. You are just angry that why is it not me? It's Dr. AKWANGA. Why is it not my group? It's Sokadev. Why is it not us? It's APLM. That we thought these people have disappeared. We have done everything. They are still standing. According to President Macho, Oreka, Olusegun Obasanjo, Ade Kankwe, that Sokadev, APLM, AKWANGA, they are there. They are not going anywhere. You cannot allow this petty jealousy to affect the struggle. The struggle must come first. Our people must be the ultimate reason why we are sacrificing all of this energy and time. That is what is important. I did not come here to respond to Comrade AYABA, because he said totally nothing that deserved my response. He said nothing. So I didn't come here to respond to him as people are saying that he's coming to respond to him. I didn't come to insult anybody, because I won't be like you. We Sokadefians and APLMers will not be like you. We can challenge you, but we are not going to insult you. We won't. If a madman comes to the stream and pick your dresses and you start chasing that madman naked, you are shouting, "Hey, madman, madman," people will think you are mad because the madman even has something to cover their naked. We can't go down that road. Insulting you, describing you and the rest. I will defend each one of you. If I know somebody out there is saying something about which is not true. But the moment I think you want to lie to the people, I will stand up to you. If you bring that lie to the public arena, I will defend it. I am in this for the people. I am in this for a separate homeland. If I am sitting here, Mr. Bia says he wants to have a meeting with me at AKWANGA, anywhere in the world, I will go have that meeting with him. I will go and I will come back. Mr. Bia cannot convince me. Spiritually, he will not handle me. He can't. Because I am confident of what my people want. I am confident of my ability. Because I do not only have our forefathers with me, I have God with me. Oh yes, I'm proud of that, and I say that in the open. It is not what man says. It is what my forefathers. Then the spirit way is what God will say. So as Sokadefians and APLMers, we can talk to anybody. We can take any decision. Because we are not a national army of Ambazonia. And there is no national army of Ambazonia. We are answerable first to our consciences. Because we too need to free ourselves. If you do not contribute to Sokadef, you do not question the modus operandi. If you do not contribute to APLM, you do not question the modus operandi, and they are not answerable to you. The only good you can do for us is that whatever group you are supporting, make sure you give that support with all your heart. Don't pay lip service. Support them very well. That is what we are saying. If any group, even the IG feels what we are doing is not okay, let them take further steps. Arm the boys in their own side and prepare them for more battles. That is what we are doing. We have never declared extra shutdown. We have never declared ghost town. We have observed all. Have you ever heard Sokadef or APLM go online and fight on which day ghost town will begin and end? Have you ever seen that? Have you ever seen that with us? Because this is not a popularity game. It is not a game of interest. Something that deals with the lives of millions of people. You don't joke with it. We will just sit behind and say, as long as it's a ghost town or a lockdown, we will obey it. In areas where we think it will jeopardize the interests of our people, we will make another decision. They have made ghost town extended once. I was contacted by General Opopo that the population in that area said they should come to me that they are tired, they don't have food. I called off the ghost town there without announcing it. I said the people should be protected, they should be allowed to stay out of their homes and do what they want to do and go back in at the appropriate time. I didn't go online to challenge IG, even when the people did not like it. They have taken so many decisions which are contrary and which have even been harmful to our people. I have done my best not to go out to attack them, because that is the right thing to do. The AKWANGA regime or whatever, they declared ghost towns, extended whatever. They said, oh, my Amazonian people, I'm talking to you people, from these days, lock down this. We don't challenge them. If we think it is necessary, we go along with it, we obey it. Is it that we don't have mouth, or we don't have people who come online and come and be insulting people? No, we are bigger than that. We want the world to know that we are matured enough to run a state of our own. We should not be giving enough weapon to them to say they don't want a South Sudan. We should not. And finally, let us not deceive ourselves. We will not do this by ourselves. We will not. Especially that we find ourselves between Nigeria. We don't even expect a help from Equatorial Guinea, which is 3 hours away from the Atlantic Ocean in Down Beach, Victoria. Look at where we are located. Hemmed in by Nigeria, which Buhari has been so wicked to us. He stole our people away from Taraba, from Calabar, from Abuja, and sent them to Yaoundé. Neither are we going to get anything from the very people who are attacking us. You want to win international support. Is that how you win it? By being manfully insultive? By being arrogant? How do you win it? Don't you know how the world works? Don't you know that we need to play their game and play it faster than them? Look at where we are today. My people, look at where we are. Yes, we have won something big. The UN knows we are there. The UN, they know we are there. It's not just Sokadef. It's every one group. The head of the UN Central African Division has come out to criticize the position of AGOC and IG. If SOCADEF did not do what they did, that head of the UN Central African Department will not mention the word ADF or AGOC or IG, because they have never mentioned it before. Because of that simple act of wisdom that we did, they are recognizing that we are there. This is the time for us to show maturity. This is the time for us to understand that we must not be at the center of everything. That we must understand that every little thing that is done for the good of the struggle. So, this is not an issue of lectures. Because Comrade AYABA knows deeply that if he needs lectures, he will come to me. He won't give me lectures. He can read all the books as he wants. He will come to me. I will give it to him. It's not an issue of age. It's an issue of experience. He knows that. I talk to my brother, Sako. He's my brother. People say I call him. Yes, he is my brother. He knows. He knows. All my other brothers know. I know my capacity. And I know my limitations. I do not write as good as Comrade Bo when it comes to communicate. He is a smart thinker. Comrade Commenter Ivis is a smart thinker. We have many great men and women who are out there doing great things. But you will not take away from me what is mine. Not even through insult. Nothing will take it away from me. So let us capitalize through this moment. Let us understand that all of this shenanigan will not take us anywhere. It will only do one thing. Some of you will say, oh, you are just talking. I'm telling you, everything that I've said in this struggle have come to pass. Can any of you argue? Everything I have said will happen has come to pass. Every warning I have given which was not heeded to have come to pass. Some of you did not listen to it because you said I was shouting. But the consequences now has nothing to do with shouting. Some of you did not listen to it because you say, I have pride in me, I'm arrogant. Oh yes, every Ambazonan is a proud person because we know exactly who we are. I have never put a wrong foot. So is SOCADEF or APLM. That does not mean we are perfect. So we should learn our lessons. The audios are there, the videos are there. Even when you say I insulted somebody, you discover I did not insult the person, I challenge the person. That is my brother Ayok. I am very bitter with him. I'm bitter. But I did not pray that he should die in prison with the rest of the people, because that will not save me well. But you, the very people who were clapping for them, putting red carpet for them, are the same people praying that they should die in prison. You guys have done all types of evil stuff. At one time I said to myself, if these people are Christian, do they believe in a life after death? Do they believe that they will be accountable for these things that they have said and they are saying? They are moving around trying to dig debt from our fighters to throw on me. Because I have organized training for international humanitarian law to make sure that our boys and girls don't get involved in kidnapping, in ransom taking, in acts of monstrosity. If you shoot a La Republic soldier, he mistakenly falls on the foot, and others, they run away. You do not have the right to kill that soldier. Under international humanitarian law, you must protect that soldier, treat that soldier, and hold that soldier as a prisoner of war. That is what I'm training every SOCADEFian and every affiliate of SOCADEF. We cannot be like them. We must protect the civilian population rather than harass them to give food, to give money and the rest. Let them give out of love. That is what I do in those trainings. And I will not be answerable to any one of you, except to my forefathers, to God, and to the people who recognize the importance of this training. You do not need to attack humanitarian workers, seize their uniforms and say they are having so many pockets. You can use it to put weapons in it and foodstuff. That is a crime. You do not need to take advantage because you have a gun. To see a young girl in town, you seize the girl, you rape the girl, and keep the girl forcefully under your control. That is a crime. By the time you and me are calling that La Republique, individuals should be arrested for war crimes. Don't forget that our own people who might be guilty for war crimes will equally be arrested. I do not want these boys and girls who have given everything to fall into the realm of Tiko drink Kumba drunk, where they will sacrifice everything. And if freedom comes, and I am sure it will come, their own freedom will end, because they will be going to the International Criminal Tribunal somewhere, where they will be tried for war crimes. Because some of you encourage them to do these things. You do not know the importance of the rules of engagement and wartime. And that though it is war where we are bound to kill one another, there are rules that must be followed. You do not do that. And when Sokadev do that, you said it is Swiss cheese. You spread all types of lies, you throw them out there. And as gullible as our people are, they become your prey. They fall victims. They listen to you. These are the things we do. We train them. They go back, they train the civilian population, and they train other trainers who will train other trainers. We do this with pride. Because the very ICRC, which is supposed to carry out this training for us, they also do it for state militia, militaries. They train the states on the respect of international humanitarian law. How many of you people think about these things? You think this war is just all about putting a small amount of money, buy AK or any other stuff with granite, and give these boys to fight? Are you thinking after the war? Are you thinking about disarmament? Are you thinking how you will be able to convince these guys to take these weapons from them? Are you thinking about rehabilitation? Are you thinking about these guys, some of them, who legitimately might have made a mistake, how they might end up losing their life and ending somewhere in a prison, somewhere in a foreign land? Why you, who might not have done anything except causing confusion in this struggle, will enjoy the fruits of their labor? Have you thought of it? Have you thought of making sure they can be protected after this, the whole thing is over? Have you thought of it? Or you think only about yourself? You think about your big title, your grandizement. You think only about sending them out to go and fight for you? No. You should think about these boys. You should show them love. Show love to these young men and women who are sacrificing everything. They are seeing their own ones falling in front of them. Think about them. I think about them because I've seen suffering. I have slept and seen people die around me. I don't push pictures of people dying and videos. They have died in front of me for this struggle. So I understand what it is. I have seen it. I've tasted it myself. Don't push our people to suicide. None of you. Each one of you is a leader. And anytime you push any one of our people into suicide, I can assure you, you will win now, but the spirit world is waiting for you. When you die, you will never rest. We will circumvent this world. You will regret why you died. You would have preferred to come back to the physical, because your spirit will suffer. Don't push our people to suicide. Give them an option to defend themselves. Show them leadership. Tell them that you can take risks on their behalf, not in your sitting rooms. Don't go out only when you want to go and gather our people to raise funds. Don't go only to the very places you think are so safe for you. Go to areas where they are risky, but where you can achieve something for the benefit of our people. But don't forget, COVID-19 takes no prisoner. It doesn't care whether you're a prime minister or a president. It doesn't care whether you're a minister or a guerrilla fighter. It doesn't care whether you're an Amazonian or a citizen of La Republique. COVID-19 does not see you as a Russian. It does not see you as an American. It does not see you as a Ghanaian. It does not see you as a Nigerian. It doesn't care whether you come from Buhari's household. It doesn't care whether you are a Kenyan. Whether you are a Kenyatta. COVID-19 comes for each one of us. It is the modern day symbolism of Christ coming like a thief and taking those who are righteous with him. That is what COVID-19 is. It has come to humble you and me and humble the rest of the world, to teach us that we are not in this world on our own. That no matter our strength, our wealth, our education and everything, we are all supposed to band together or we will die together. That is the importance of COVID-19. As dangerous as it is, it has brought something positive to this world. It spares nobody. It spares no household. It spares no nationality. It spares no individual. You can be the greatest preacher in the world, the greatest orator, the best liar, the most dangerous armed robber, COVID-19 comes for each one of us. We must do whatever it takes to protect our people. We are asking the international community that as of midnight tonight, SOCADEF will observe a unilateral ceasefire, because we and only us will decide when that ceasefire has been broken or not. We will observe it, and for 14 days we expect the international community, if they want us to extend it, to move in experts into our territory, which is war-ridden, who will test our people, who will look for those who will be isolated if they have been affected, and who will teach our people the preventive mechanism. This is an opening for the international community and for you, La République du Cameroon. This is not a free pass, because we are battle ready for you. Don't think we will go to sleep. No, we want to protect our people. And in protecting our people, we will be protecting your own people, including your band of terrorists who are in our homeland. For COVID-19 spares nobody. It hasn't spared your speaker. And there might be other people in your land who have already been affected. We must all join hands together and heed to the call of Antonio Guterres, the UN Secretary General. Let us keep our anger against the United Nations, no matter how legitimate it is. Let us stay focused. Let us realize how dangerous this issue is. It is not just a pandemic. It is something that has shut down the entire world. The entire world is shut down. No flight, nothing. I am hunkered down in beautiful Accra, in beautiful Ghana. Thanks to the hospitality of the people of this country. COVID-19 spares none. And it will not keep any prisoner. I want to thank you very much for listening to me. And I hope that you will understand the importance of the classification of this struggle. I equally hope that you will know that we never declared a ceasefire, because we are not in any direct negotiation at the moment with La République du Cameroon. But it is our right, our duty, when we think it is time to do it, a unilateral ceasefire. Just as any other armed defense group in our homeland has the same right to do it or to reject it. My people, finally, I'm appealing to you. Please learn to read. Learn to read. We are a very educated people. No matter how twisted La République du Cameroon try to spoil our educational system. When you hear any word, ask the person. Don't say Dr. AKWANGA has sold the people. Show me evidence. They give you the evidence, investigate it. Go online. Even if you are not satisfied, you will be able to see the most rudimentary explanation of what a ceasefire or unilateral ceasefire stands for. You will be able to see how wars are classified. International armed conflict, non-international armed conflict, and to another extent, a civil war. And don't be deceived, between war and armed conflict is the same thing. Under international jargon or parlance, armed conflict is mostly used. It's not war. So they're the same thing. So please don't be deceived by people who can speak so well and so deceitful that you just fall into that trap. Don't be gullible not to listen, because our refusal to listen is what has put us where we are today. All the division that today there are two IGs is because we refuse to listen. We refused. Every time we refuse to listen, we dig a hole. And we should not blame the other side. We will hold ourselves responsible if we do not cross into the promised land. Thank you very much, and thank you for watching. I will only talk to you again when need arises. But as you know, SOCADEF is a spirit. No matter what you do, you cannot defeat them. No matter how you try, you can't take them down. No matter how hard you work, they cannot be destroyed. We have existed since 1995. and we will exist even after this war is all over. For spirits never dies. May God bless you, and may He continue to look kindly upon the people of the former British Southern Cameroons, the people of Ambazonia. And may our forefathers spare none of us, directly or indirectly, who are taking our people for a ride. May their anger descend upon those individuals and the generations of their individuals who are with them. May the wrath of God descend on those who are pushing our people to suicide, rather than giving them the opportunity to defend themselves. May He speak in our time, so that we might listen. May our homeland be shielded, no matter how many we go down, no matter how difficult the situation is. The spirit of never ever giving up should remain our clarion call. Good night from Accra.